Have you ever looked at a container of yogurt with the familiar depiction of a cow grazing on a rolling field of green grass overlooked by a bright red barn? Seem familiar? That's just one of the many tricks that factory farms plays on consumers to shield them from the horrifying truths that go on within factory farms. Factory farming is a system of raising livestock that confines them indoors under strictly controlled conditions. This fact makes people wonder, what goes on within factory farms? How do factory farms treat their animals? How does factory farming affect the environment and you and me? And what can we do about it? My name is Ruby Nielsen, and today I would like to inform you and tell you about factory farming. Many animals are affected by factory farming, and unfortunately, the animals listed below are the most affected. One of those being poultry. Chickens are very social creatures, and within factory farm environments, they aren't given the chance to act out those natural behaviors. In normal circumstances, chickens should be preening, perching, and scratching for food. But because of factory farming, many of the chickens processed for food are not given the chance to act out those behaviors. And that's from World Animal Protection. Another major factory farmed animals are swine or pigs. These farm pigs are raised in barren enclosures with solid floors, and pigs have very limited space. And many of these pig barns have thousands of pigs crammed into small barns to optimize speedy production of meat. Pigs are very social and intelligent creatures that can recognize their own kind, and even pigs kept as pets mourn the loss and separation from human family members. Unfortunately, many of the meat pigs are not given the ideal and ethical lives, and that's from World Animal Protection. Another highly factory farmed animals are cows or dairy cows. 9 million cows live in factory farm environments in the U.S., and that's from the National Humane Education Society. Overcrowding is a huge problem within these factory farms. These cows are overmilked, and many are not given the chance to graze on pastures, and that's from the World Animal Protection. Male calves are often not favorable, so in many farms they don't make it to adulthood. There are countless other factory farm animals, but these are the leading food animals in America today. The food industry does not want you to know what goes on within factory farm walls. The Pew Commission on Industrial Farm Animal Protection, or the PCIFAP, which included experts like former USDA Secretary Dan Glickman, conducted a comprehensive fact-based and balanced examination of the key aspects of farm animal industry. The research included industrial farm animal production systems are largely unregulated, and many practices common to the method of production threaten public health, the environment, animal health, and the well-being in rural communities. And that's from National Geographic. The food companies do not want you to be aware of the unhealthy practices that happen within factory farm walls. Hundreds of millions of farm animals die in the factory farming system each year, and by turning their carcasses into feed, the animal agriculture industry can save on disposal costs and feed costs at the same time, and that's from the National Geographic. The whole system has taken a reputation of being unhealthy and irresponsible. Disease is so rampant that the USDA explicitly allows diseased animals to be slaughtered and sold for human food. And because excluding these animals would result in financial losses for agribusiness and the factory farms. That's from National Geographic as well. Not only is factory farming bad for the animals, but it also affects the well-being and health of the public. For several decades, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and state governments have failed to regulate the environmental impacts of factory farming. When factory farms operate virtually unregulated, the environment in nearby rural communities pay the price. The vast quantities of manure from factory farms can and do make their way into local waterways and the environment. Several multiple water systems in the Midwest must regulate implemented costly cleanup techniques to remove factory farm pollution from the water supply in order to avoid a public health crisis. Likewise, Pollution from factory farms run off into streams and feed into our major waterways like the Chesapeake Bay, Great Lakes, and the Gulf of Mexico, which in turn affects drinking water supplies, aquatic ecosystems, recreation, and people's livelihoods. The stressful environment within factory farms makes it easy for disease to spread, which then affects companies, which then affects the food that we eat. And in 2010, the crowded, unsanitary conditions at two Iowa egg companies caused a recall for more than 500 million potentially salmonella-tainted eggs, and that's from Food and Water Watch. This incident is just one of the numerous occasions where factory farm environments' unhealthy conditions have caused a health hazard within the public. So what can we do about this issue? Going vegan is one of the colossal ways to reduce the demand for animal-based products. You can sign petitions and get your voice heard, support animal sanctuaries, and educate the people around you. Many people have not been informed by the issues of factory farms, but you could be the start of change by sharing your knowledge with colleagues, family, and friends. So, today, you have learned that what factory farming is, how the factories treat their animals, and how factory farming affects the environment and people. You also learned what you can do about it. The next time you go into a grocery store and grab your desired dairy products, like this one, plan on sticking to brands that actually depict what they put on their containers. Animals deserve a change. Help give them a voice to the voiceless. Thank you so much for listening to my speech, and I hope that you will